Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because, wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack. It wasn't like $6 Million Man was like a picture of a suit, which feels like it would have made more sense.
What fresh hell?
Laughing in the face of motherhood.
Teenagers have to step out in postage stamp, Hamburglar costumes, sexy Hamburglar. I hate it.
With Margaret Abels
and Amy Wilson.
Our cats would eat our faces off if we tried to put them in a costume, so I don't have to worry about that.
A podcast that solves today's parenting dilemmas
so you don't have to.
Pop a collar in your Dracula, but you had to work with what you had, and you had to be something spooky, and anonymous would be better.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to What Fresh Hell, Laughing in the Face of Motherhood. This is Margaret.
And this is Amy. And this week, a very important episode. What fresh hell is Halloween?
Oh, Halloween.
What the heck, you guys? It's here. It's here, and we have to do it.
Halloween if you must. Yeah, I guess we must.
Yes. I have research about Halloween back in the day, Halloween now. It's a thing, and we're going to complain about it today, all its various aspects. First, we have a great mailbag.
Oh, yes, wait a minute, time for mailbag. Wait, yeah, check the mailbag.
We love all the different ways that people reach out to us. You can hit us on email, info@whatfreshhellpodcast.com. DM us on Instagram. Hit up our Facebook page at whatfreshhellcast. Yell from your rooftop. So this is Melinda, and she sent an email, and she said, first, thank you for being my pandemic friends throughout 2020, my guides as I discovered my children's neurodivergence, and the funniest moms on the internet. I share What Fresh Hell all the time, and I always tell my friends I found this info so helpful, and this episode will also make you laugh. That's what we're going for, isn't it, generally?
That is it. Helpful laughter.
Melinda also says, thank you for your inclusivity and awareness of neurodivergence, and for doing so many fresh takes with experts about neurodiversity. I'm becoming the advocate I am because of the science, sound wisdom, and recommendations for books and experts and resources you've connected me to through this podcast. Thank you, Melinda. That's awesome.
Now that was a mailbag. Loved it. Thank you for reaching out with that.
Here's my first beef with Halloween.
Okay.
What fresh hell are Halloween lawn decorations? I mean, back in our day, it was maybe a jack-o'-lantern on the front porch, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe some corn stalks taped to your front door. The end. Now it's the 12-foot skeletons from Home Depot that are at every 10th house now, I feel like.
Oh, I mean, if only I could turn my camera around, Amy, you would see my giant inflatable ghost who says boo.
So what's in your front yard right now?
A giant inflatable ghost who says boo. He has a sign.
He says boo. Is it motion detected?
No. He's just blown up and just sways there and says boo.
Oh, but I mean, with a sign that says boo, or does he make noise?
He's holding a sign that says boo. Which is probably
it's an understood.
Not clear to me why he would be holding that sign. But anyway, we have a skull kind of flying ghoul. We have a glittery static ghost who's just a sign. And then this weekend we will do our pumpkins, and we will have several light up pumpkins.
Are your kids into this lawn decorations? Are you like, ugh, now I have to do my ghost that says boo? Is it a whole thing for you?
I was going to say, as we started talking, can we do a step back and say, is this a two kinds of people thing? I think there may be Halloween people and non-Halloween people very fundamentally.
Yeah, but Halloween's gotten a lot harder for parents in like 10 different ways.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm not doing the 9 million things, but I think that fundamentally some people are more. I love everything fall. I like Halloween. I like going to the apple orchard. I'm not into costumes for myself, but I like seeing the trick-or-treaters. Like I would rate Halloween like a 9 out of 10 for me in general. Now, does that mean I want to dial in on every wacky new aspect of Halloween? No.
Right.
But I think that there are certain people who are Halloween oriented. We were just talking to the women who we work with at Adalist, and one of them was like, I am all Halloween. I mean, she's got 80 decorations in the yard. She's planning a group costume with that is mysterious to me in terms of I don't like the costumes, but I think people have a different a Halloween set.
Well, that's very interesting. Is this a person who has children? I don't even know which one she's talking about right now, which one of these are Adalist friends. Is this an adult with kids and planning a group costume?
Adult, no kids.
That is, I'm going to give you some research from a book called Fantasyland, How America Went Haywire by Kurt Anderson. It's a book that's sort of like, this wasn't a thing. You think it was a thing forever. He says, not so long ago, American adults never dressed up in costumes, certainly not as an annual ritual. When my daughters reached their early 20s and were obsessing more than ever over their Halloween costumes, they were shocked when I told them that. Like, this was not a grown-up holiday. Maybe you throw on a witch hat while you're walking around the neighborhood with your kids, but it was not something that our parents did. And it was not something that I did after college. And now, late 20s, New York City, you are stepping out, starting on like September 25th in your Halloween costume every weekend.
Correct. Well, there's isn't it Mean Girls where there's this joke that like it's everybody's excuse to dress sexy one night a year, and it's like, I am sexy crayon. No, I am sexy escaped.
It dismays me.
Lunatic.
I haven't.
It dismays
I
you?
forgot that. Yes, it dismays you when you have a high school female child. The expectations around costumes for teenage girls, and that they can't just be a minion. You know, that they have to be sexy Queen of Hearts, sexy. That's the sexualization of teenage girl Halloween is one of my fresh hells. Mm-hmm.
Dismaying. My tween is going as Gru, but she's like, I don't want to go as ugly Gru. I'm like, please tell me you're not trying to go as sexy Gru, which she objected to very much. She's like, just normal Gru. But yeah, she wants to still look cute, even though she's going as Gru.
Yes. There wasn't the stress. I mean, maybe if an adult threw a costume party, you had to look like Cleopatra and with the sheet wrapped around you and little extra eyeliner, and you look pretty good, actually. But this whole thing that teenagers have to step out in postage stamp Hamburglar costumes, sexy Hamburglar. I hate it. I hate it.
Sexy Hamburglar.
I hate it. I wish they could just have fun instead of have to try to look hot, but it's what it is.
Yeah.
But he says in this book, Kurt Anderson says that it was really the gay culture in the 1980s that did huge parades in New York and San Francisco. There's a really big Halloween parade in New York City.
Yes.
That was what really started this culture of adults dressing up and going out on weekends, and it started in the coasts and now it's everywhere.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. We used to go to that parade all the time in college, the Greenwich Village Halloween parade. And yeah, I definitely remember my parents going to a costume party when we were little. They went as Daddy Warbucks and Little Orphan Annie. And I have to say, it was thrilling, like seeing my parents dressed up in a crazy costume, but I think it was much more unusual. I mean, I still remember it. I was like, look at these people. They're dressed in a costume. It was wild to me.
Can we talk a little bit about the history of Halloween? Because it wasn't always a thing. I mean, that's what's interesting about it is all of this feels like, well, I have to put out the lawn decorations and I have to do the group costume. And you don't.
Right. Someone made this all up.
But it's interesting how it kind of caught on, right?
Yes.
So there's an article, Mariana Serini wrote it for CNN. And Halloween was not always a thing in the United States, really. But she says, I didn't know this, as the first wave of Irish and Scottish immigrants began arriving in the U.S. in the 18th century. So your great-great-great-grandmother and mine brought a lot of Halloween superstitions and traditions. I mean, I don't remember my grandmother saying anything about Halloween, but I guess it was kind of an Irish-Scottish thing to dress up, for kids to dress up.
Yeah. I mean, my mother's family was super into Halloween, but they didn't dress up in costume. They dressed up all in black and then filled socks with flour. And they ran around the Bronx hitting each other with socks full of flour to try to leave marks on their black outfits.
And like whoever came home with the least floured up black outfit.
Flower was the winner. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little more sinister. So maybe this part has gotten a little softer, but it was way sinister. Did you know that New York University has a master's program in costume studies?
I mean, not Halloween costumes. Do they mean?
No.
They mean like costumes.
To be really specific, I guess. Yes. Well, anyway, I'm going to quote you the director of the Costume Studies Master's Program at New York University, Nancy Deal. She says it was rural first, that Irish and Scottish immigrants came to America. They embraced the pagan roots. It was a dark occasion. It was death. It was spooky. You would try to look scary and frightening, but you would definitely only use what you had around the house.
Right.
You know, black clothes and a sheet over your head and a little cork, little makeup, improvised masks. And the point of it, she argues, is that people wouldn't be able to tell who you were. That the anonymity of the costume
was what made it spooky.
Was what made it fun. You were supposed to, my sister was telling me yesterday that Meet Me in St. Louis, the Judy Garland movie, from the 1940s, but set in like turn of the century. And they have a Halloween scene where she says all the parents in town save up their old furniture and they let the kids have a bonfire. And everybody just gets corks and blackens their faces and puts sheets over them. Like, it's kind of spooky and weird, and do a big bonfire.
Well,
no
I
candy
don't
at all.
know how far back the origins go, but certainly November 1st is the Day of the Dead, or All Saints Day in the Catholic Church. And
Right.
it always has been. And it's All Hallows Eve, right? It's like the eve of the Day of the Dead.
Right. So they come out the night before. I don't know. Yeah, something.
Yeah. Day after Halloween, we're going to celebrate All Souls. We're going to acknowledge the dead. So the night before is the gathering, right? And the gathering of the dead, I think. And
Yes.
And I think that there are so many traditions like this that have, and obviously it's gourds, it's fall, like it's harvest stuff. There's a lot going on there. A lot to unpack with the origins.
Another sort of like period piece that you can look back and be like, oh, I get it. It used to be a little different, is the Charlie Brown. It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown Halloween special,
Yes.
which was made in the 1960s. And everybody, all the kids in it, Charlie Brown just has like a sheet over his head with eyes cut out, or maybe it's Linus, but they go out as a witch, a goblin, or a ghost. Those were your choices once upon a time. You had to go as something spooky.
Scary.
Yeah, and like maybe a mask or a sheet over your head with holes in it, but it was just stuff you had around, and you vaguely spooky, and your options were extremely limited to the category, the password category, things you might see.
Things that are scary, right? Things from a graveyard or whatever.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Pop a collar in your Dracula, but you had to like work with what you had, and you had to be something spooky, and anonymous would be better. And then in the 1960s, like going to the 1970s, there was a guy named Ben Cooper.
Uh-oh. He's causing problems. I can tell by your tone.
You don't know you know Ben Cooper, but you do. He had this idea, and he changed our Halloween childhood. He was the inventor of the great 1970s plastic Halloween costume.
Oh.
And this changed. I mean, we have a lot to say about these costumes for people who never had the privilege of wearing them. We have a lot to say about these. But what's really interesting about it is that this was the first time that you as a kid couldn't be a ghost, a witch, or whatever. You could be
$6 million man.
Yeah, Woody Woodpecker, whatever, that you could be a character. And then it was a Halloween character. There was an article for Slate that made this hilarious, like you could be like the Fonz from Happy Days, which was not really a children's show. You could be Horshack from Welcome Back, Kotter. It just was like the sitcoms of the day had plastic costumes in the supermarket that you could be, because it was a way to sell stuff. It was a way to market stuff.
I will say my mother, part of the problem, she answered the call because she loved to sew. And, she would make us dresses and stuff. But then once Halloween got going, she would take our orders in August, and she would go all out. And I'll try to find a picture and post it. She did a Statue of Liberty costume for me that is, in fact, we would enter the local costume contest, and it would be like me dressed as the full Statue of Liberty with like hand-dyed green sheets that she had sewn to look exactly like the Statue of Liberty. And I would be standing next to a kid in like a plastic Planet of the Apes mask and a plastic apron that said Planet of the Apes on it. And Yeah. And sometimes I remember once we lost because someone thought they were store-bought our costumes, and I was like,
What store? Let me tell you, I was alive then. You couldn't get a gorgeous Etsy Statue of Liberty.
yeah, where would you get? I guess you would have them ordered or something. Yeah.
You could have like the lady who made bridal gowns make it for you. But I mean, that would really be working it.
But my mom was definitely the dance mom. She was costume mom. Like, she really wanted us. She took it very seriously. She was good at it, and she really delivered. She really delivered.
That's impressive. I did not have a costume mom, so I had a much more typical 1970s, 80s Halloween costume. I'll tell you about it after this. Hellions, it's time for some spring cleaning, and I don't just mean the coat closets. Doing your financial spring cleaning can actually be super easy when you let Monarch do your financial spring cleaning for you. One dashboard that gets your entire financial life organized. No more clutter, no more mess, no more logins scattered everywhere, just accounts, investments, property, and more, all in one place. Get your first year of Monarch for half off, just $50 with promo code FRESH. Monarch allows you to look not only at what you've already spent, but also to plan for the future. With Monarch, you can set savings goals, plan for big purchases, and notice spending trends before they become a problem. I can generate cash flow reports that show me what we spent this quarter, this month, what we're probably going to spend next month, and feel prepared, organized, and knowing how to plan for the future. No more surprises and a lot more clarity. Try Monarch. Use code FRESH at monarch.com to get your first year half off at just $50. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code FRESH.
You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
All my kids learned to swim when they were little. It was super important to me that they be confident and safe in the water. There was only one problem with that: taking them to swim lessons. I mean, the pools were freezing. There were always cranky adults doing laps right there. And it was definitely not, for any of us, what you would call fun.
Amy, heard. But now there's Goldfish Swim School. Goldfish takes a really thoughtful approach to swim lessons, combining research-based teaching with a warm, kid-friendly environment that actually helps kids thrive in the water.
Every detail at Goldfish is thoughtfully designed to create a golden experience, from shiver-free, warm indoor pools to comfy waiting areas for parents to professionally trained lifeguards on deck.
Goldfish uses an approach called the science of swim play, which combines guided play with proven teaching techniques to help kids learn to swim, build water safety skills, and gain confidence, all at their own pace. Lessons are designed to meet kids exactly where they're at.
If you've been thinking about swim lessons or just wondering where to start, this is a great opportunity. Right now, Goldfish Swim School is offering a waived membership plus your child's first lesson free at participating locations.
Just visit goldfishswimschool.com/free to find a location near you and enroll using promo code FREE.
That's goldfishswimschool.com/free, promo code FREE. So here's what I remember about the Halloween of our youth. You didn't start talking about it in July. I feel like when my kids were little, they started talking about it in like June, what they were going to be for Halloween. And I let them because they're into it, right? Never interrupt a happy kid. Like, I'm going to be this for Halloween. But I knew not to get involved too soon because it would certainly change, right? So I was sort of making it sound like this 1970s was this wonderland where you could be any plastic costume that you wanted. But it was kind of like what was in the store. You were limited to... One year, I remember my brother was the pokey little puppy and I was Raggedy Ann. And it's hard for me to say that I wanted to be Raggedy Ann, but that's probably what was there at the store. There were 6 or 7. So you put on this costume.
And you're talking about the plastic mask, plastic sheet.
Right. It was like a lobster bib.
Apron.
Yeah, it was an apron.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have sleeves on it. It definitely tied in the back, like the kind of thing you put on when you go to get a mammogram, but plastic.
Yeah. I don't think it had sleeves. Just picture like a kitchen apron made entirely of plastic.
Not heirloom quality. You were not saving these for later. They probably wouldn't have made it through the night, right?
Oh, barely the night, I would say, yeah.
And I was definitely Barbie one year. And so you had a Barbie mask on, but then you also wore this big plastic thing and it had to say Barbie on it because you needed to give people clues as to who you were. It was really not clear.
Well, and it's also funny because it wasn't like a picture of a dress and then it said Barbie on it. It just said Barbie on it.
And it might have like a scene of Barbie, right? As if Barbie would wear like...
That's it. It was like Barbie and her friends. It wasn't like it's a Barbie outfit that said Barbie. It wasn't like $6 Million Man was like a picture of a suit, which feels like it would have made more sense.
No. It was a scene. It was like a triptych of scenes from the show.
It was just like a lunchbox.
Yes. Like the lunchbox scene on the front. And then it said $6 Million Man because the costume, they had like 4 molds. So like Barbie.
4 is generous.
He-Man.
Yeah.
Anybody with long hair was one mold. And anybody with short hair was another mold.
Yeah. I think that might have been it.
Did you know that the Halloween, the Michael Myers in the Halloween movie, that mask, can you picture that? That's just a Richard Nixon mask. Like that movie was made in 1980. There were still like 5 masks back then. And so they took a Richard Nixon mask and they like put it inside out or something. Or they spray painted it white. Yeah. It's just a Richard Nixon mask. Everybody listening is like,
oh my God, I have to go relook at Michael Myers again. That's incredible. That's a fun fact.
So you'd go out in this costume. And remember, the eye slits were, like, you didn't look very much like Barbie, so I don't know why they had to go this hard on these masks, right? But you couldn't see.
Eye slits were very small.
The eye slits were like 2 pieces of paper. Like, you could see the smallest, lest anybody be able to tell at all who you were.
They were small and they were far from your eyes. Like, it wasn't a fitted mask.
Yes.
It was like a small eye slit that was 3 inches away from your actual eyeball. So you could see nothing.
They were probably like adult-sized masks. You could see nothing. And then the nose holes. Do you remember? They just were like 2 like
little tiny
pinpricks. Yeah. And then for the mouth, you couldn't eat candy with these masks on, but they did have like a little, in case of emergency, I guess, a little breathing hole in front of your mouth. And you'd put it on so you couldn't see or breathe. And you would almost immediately develop like a full sheen of condensation between your face and the mask.
Yes. I just Googled as we were talking 70s Halloween mask. And I mean, they're incredible. I mean, we will put some pictures up, but they're absolutely phenomenally bizarre.
And as you said, like, I think we do have a couple Halloween pictures of us dressed up for Halloween. I'm sort of like, why did you take those? You might as well have taken pictures of Precious Moments figurines. Could be any kid.
They could have been any kid.
Could be, they're just, you're behind a thing where you can't really see, but you're so into it. You're so excited because you're this $6 Million Man and you're going to go knock on the door of your like neighbor's house and get some candy. And then my friend Laura reminded me of this the other night. We were talking about Halloween costumes of yore, and she reminded me of like the worst part of being a kid, 70s, 80s Halloween. You ready to go out the door, and your mom says, you're going to have to put your winter coat on. It's really cold out there. Because, guys, it used to be cold on Halloween. It's cold. You had to put your winter coat on over your plastic Barbie or $6 Million Man costume. Thereby, like, what's the point? I might as well stay home. Nobody's going to see the seams on my chest to know that I'm Barbie.
I want to tell you that why I know this, I don't know. Do you know that Jay Leno wrote a kid's book all about this topic? About Halloween? It was all about your coat.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it ruined your jam.
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy is we were not allowed to wear these costumes because my mom liked making our costumes. And of course, all I wanted in the world was a plastic mask with a Barbie apron because that's what everybody else had.
Because everybody else, that's right. You didn't want to, zig when everybody else was zagging.
No. It's funny. You want what everybody else has. And I definitely wanted them.
By the time I was in 5th grade, I want to say group costumes are definitely more a thing now than they were then, that you have to go as the same thing as your friends as a source of stress for high schoolers everywhere. But when I was in 5th grade, my friend Gina Giancarlo and I went as M&Ms. She was plain, I was peanut. And we got the idea. I think her parents must have gotten a new washer.
That's a good one. All right.
Her parents got a new washer and dryer. It must have been, because it was like 2 big boxes that were about the same size. So it was probably a washer dryer. I was trying to think of like what appliances come in pairs. It's that. So we spent hours on this. We cut out a hole for our head and, we looked really cute. We go out on Halloween. I remember there was snow on the ground. But I didn't have to wear a winter coat because I was wearing a box. I was wearing a washer box.
You couldn't
so I couldn't actually get a coat on. Hello, psych, Mom, I'm not wearing a coat.
Win.
Yeah. So I go out. I had made an error in calculation when I was working on this costume, which was I couldn't see while I was walking over the edge of the M&M box. I mean, it was a big box. And I remember sort of stumbling around the neighborhood, unable to see my feet as the snow was falling. I worked so hard for my candy that year. And then I also couldn't really like reach to get it. It was terrible.
Tough break.
It was my worst Halloween ever. I know. It was. I went back to the plastic costume next year.
Sorry to hear that. I think, by the way, because I've just gotten a correction on the podcast, I think it might have been Jerry Seinfeld who wrote the children's book about the coat on Halloween. Anyway, some famous comedian wrote a book about it.
I mean, I could do that and I wouldn't be able to sell it. But yeah, these famous comedians are like, oh, and I have a children's book idea. And it sells 1,100 million copies, you know?
There you go. But anyway, it was a comedian. Don't hold me to Jay Leno. I may be wrong about that.
What do you think, though? Do you think Halloween costumes were better for kids, were better then or better now? I have complicated thoughts about this.
I mean, I definitely loved the thrill. Even though we didn't buy them, we would still go to Woolworths and look at them. And we would be so excited. Be like, oh my God, they have Wonder Woman. Oh my gosh, they have Barbie's sister. Like, we would be so excited. Midge. We would be so excited to see them.
Her teenage sister.
I loved Halloween as a kid. And my kids really love Halloween. Now my teens are getting into a different era where like they just want to be something scary and run around town with their friends. But I love Halloween. We live set back from the street in a house that doesn't get trick-or-treaters. I also, because we lived off of a highway growing up, we didn't get trick-or-treaters. And I go to my neighbor's house because I love to see the kids. Like, I want to be where the people are on Halloween. I love all the outfits. And I don't know. I mean, I don't love anything that's an arms race where it's like it used to be easy and now it's really hard. But I do think that Halloween is super fun. And I don't dress up. It's funny, having done theater, whatever it is, like I have no interest in putting on a costume.
That's what I think it is. I got enough creative acts during my year. I don't need to put a costume on.
Yeah, like I definitely am not interested in I wear all black and I put a witch's hat on when I have to go somewhere. But I love the clever costumes. Like I love
them on other people.
I love to see what people have come up with.
I love a cute baby.
I think that the arms race stuff I could do without, but the general creativity, our town has a little Halloween parade and I still like to go because I just love to see what they're doing. And maybe 3 years ago, there was a baby. And it was the president of the United States baby. And it was in a huge cardboard, like I don't know. The parents must have been like costume designers. I mean, it was so out of control. And they had built like the whole presidential seal behind the baby's head. And the baby was wearing a little suit. And then the carriage was like the Oval Office desk. And so like the baby was just sitting there, but then this whole Oval Office desk was rolling down the street as the stroller. And then around it, there were like 6 different guys who must have been the family members dressed as Secret Service with the earpieces. And it just like knocked me out. I just love to see our town that my family is from has a very, very famous Halloween parade. And like it predated for sure, like Halloween being quite so crazy. And so we always went there as kids. And it's just, I love to see the people who think of such funny things and the way they're creative. I love it. I love it.
Costumes for kids are definitely cuter now. And it's easy to get cute costumes. I used to always use Old Navy and Pottery Barn Kids are a little more expensive, but like great costumes that kind of look homemade, even though they're not, and absolutely adorable. And I want to give a shout out. This was a tip I saw online this week that Primary is a website that sells all kinds of kids' clothes. Great website, great stuff. They have a Halloween page where if you are a DIY kind of parent, they're like, okay, your kid can be peas in a pod, and here's what you need to buy from us. You need the green top, the green shirt. They have all the basics in every color, and then you just need to do this and this. It's no-sew, DIY, still several hours of labor involved, guys, but not terrible. And my favorite costume that they have on there this year is a little kid dressed as Steven Nedorosik, who was the pommel horse guy at the Olympics who wore the really thick glasses.
Oh yeah, he's Dancing with the Stars now. Yes,
So they had a kid. They showed how you could make a little like USA hoodie for him, and then just put the glasses on the kid and have him squint, and he's the pommel horse guy from the Olympics.
Yeah.
That would be my favorite costume this year.
That's the kind of costume maker I am. Like my kid as a young person went, as like a 5-year-old, went as, what were they called? Not Zoocrats. The Kratz brothers. They're like animal Kratz or something. There's a thing that they were.
The Wild
Kratz. I'm so glad you came up with that. I would have been thinking about it all day. The Wild Kratz.
The Zoocrats.
I was like,
Wild Kratz.
But he went as Wild Kratz. And again, it was like a black shirt and blue pants, whatever it was. And then I went on Etsy or whatever, and I got the, I don't know, glowing little thing that went in the middle of his shirt and some gloves. And it ended up being a great costume. And I also think it's fun. It's obviously like a human need. We're doing it for a reason. Like, it's not a human need to have to buy expensive costumes that used to be $2 and are now $200. But there is something, you know, at the little school Halloween parade, like there's the football player and there's the ballerina, but then there's kind of the wacky kid who's dressed as something crazy. Like, I think there's something so fun about the way that kids choose to express themselves on Halloween. We've been in the last couple of years doing the like, I don't think I'm going to go this year. I think I'm too cool. I think I'm too old. And I'm always like, well, see if your friends are going, because I can tell they really still want to go. And they kind of still want to dress, but they feel like, oh, I'm too old to dress.
Yes. I needed to have that explained to me, and then I had those kids myself. And I've seen that on Facebook too, people saying that when a kid shows up at your door with no costume or a very hastily put together, you know, they drew something on their shirt costume, give them the candy anyway. It's because they didn't know how much they'd want to go until that night when they see their little sister going, oh, I want to go too. I want to be a kid too.
Yeah, like who doesn't want to walk around and get handed candy by strangers? It's amazing.
It's amazing, but there are some drawbacks. I'm going to come in hard with the drawbacks in part 3. My favorite skincare products actually feel more like self-care, like they're so nice to put on and they smell so good that I'm actually happy when I get to that part of my day. And I swear that is how I feel about Osea's anti-aging body balm.
Amy, you are usually the lotions and potions queen on this podcast, but I have to say, hard agree.
Osea's anti-aging body balm is a liquid silk body balm that combines the lasting hydration of a lotion with the firming power of a serum, leaving skin smoother and firmer.
This body balm is clinically tested and designed to deliver visible results you can see and feel.
So we've gotten to use this product for a couple of months now, and I swear I have really noticed firmer and smoother skin, like on the back of my hands. It's like getting a mini spa treatment from head to toe.
Get a spring-worthy glow with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now, we have a special discount just for our listeners.
Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code FRESH at OseaMalibu.com.
That's 10% off your first order with code FRESH at OSEAMalibu.com. Amy, when I'm having a good hair day, it usually makes my whole day better. And that's why on every day, I'm taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand. And it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested.
Nutrafol offers multiple formulas for men and women tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors, so you get support that's actually right for you. Adding Nutrafol to your daily routine is easy. Order online, no prescription needed, with automated deliveries and free shipping to keep you on track.
Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code LAUGHING.
That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LAUGHING.
And now some Halloween jokes from kids. From the What Fresh Hell podcast. Knock, knock. Who's there? Boo. Boo-hoo. Don't cry, it's just a costume. Why did the skeleton refuse to go to the ball? Why? Because he had no body to dance with. That's sad. How do you fix a broken jack-o'-lantern? With a pumpkin patch. Does that really work? What song do vampires hate? You Are My Sunshine. They do hate the sun. What do you call two witches sharing an apartment? Broommates. Happy Halloween!
Margaret, what fresh hell is the Switch Witch?
I will say Switch Witch and Elf on the Shelf, thank God, born at the right time. Like, they predate me. We've never done them. My kids, I'm saying my like tweens and teens last year were like, why don't we do Elf on the Shelf? Let's start that. And I'm like, no.
Oh my God. Right. You are free. I looked into the history of the Switch Witch and I'm like, okay, all right. There might be some people for whom Switch Witch is good, but do not buy into big Switch Witch because now there's a book, there's a thing.
You literally have to walk me through it. Like, I don't even know what a Switch Witch does.
She takes the kids' candy and brings a present. So I was just talking to my sister-in-law who was like, I'm landing from a work trip and then I have to go to Target. Why? Well, because I have to get toys for the Switch Witch to bring. What your kids do is they come home and they count. There's a book, like I said, there's a book with all these rules, just like the Elf on the Shelf, like weird arcane rules that rhyme that this woman wrote on a plane. She wrote on a work trip and now it's more work for everybody.
Thanks a lot, lady.
Your kids count up 5 pieces of candy, which I think is an outrageous. I think that's unfair. 5 pieces of candy.
That's what they get to keep?
They get to keep 5 pieces of candy and they have to leave
that's only
the outside.
What about for me?
Yeah, the rest on the step for the Switch Witch, who then will leave them some toy you got to go buy and be excited about. And I know it's easy for us to say, guys, just don't do this, opt out. But when half of the second grade has a Switch Witch, the other half is like, why doesn't the Switch Witch come to our house? It's a whole thing.
I am not a nutritionist or a medical professional. Let me just say that very, very clearly. But we used to trick or treat when we were kids, and we would get an entire bed pillowcase full of candy. Like, I mean, it was insane how much candy we would get.
Right. You could hardly carry it.
Truly, you'd be like dragging it down the street by the end of the night.
Yes. Mom, will you hold my candy for me? Because it's too heavy.
Full of candy. And there was always 1 or 2 houses that gave out full size. And I will say I don't ever remember anything about my parents being like, you can or cannot eat this amount of candy at any given time. Mm-hmm. And we would spend the rest of Halloween night laying out our candy and exchanging candy with friends and siblings. That was a big...
Yes. Sorting it into types, like here's the red candy and here's the M&M's candy. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't want Twizzlers. You take them. I'll give you my Gobstoppers if you give me your mini Snickers, whatever it is.
Right.
My kids have very specific instructions to only get 100 gram bars. That's what I like. So I'm like, that's what you should be after out there, kids. We've trained for this. But we would eat a lot of candy for 2 or 3 days and get really sick and miserable. And then we would lose interest in the candy. And then the candy would eventually be thrown away because it was like a half a bag of rotting candy in our room. Uh-huh. And I think that part of the Switch Witch is the idea that kids shouldn't eat so much candy.
That's right. It's been broadened, right, that if you're a good parent, you'll do the Switch Witch because your kids shouldn't have this much candy.
But I am going to argue, and again, like, I have no background in nutrition. I don't know anything about what I'm talking about, but my own personal choice is go hog wild.
Right. Go ham on the candy.
Go hog wild on candy. Go ham for 3 days on candy.
Let them have stomach aches.
Make yourself sick. Feel what it feels like to eat too much candy once a year.
Yes.
And then we'll get rid of the candy.
That's what I think.
And yeah, like, I like to have a piece of chocolate and I eat Halloween candy. And like, we often have a big bowl of candy in the kitchen. That's like the getting ready for Halloween because we love candy. I don't know. It's not that interesting.
I just bought a bag of like M&Ms, bite-sized M&Ms because I don't really have trick-or-treaters anymore. I live in an apartment building, long story, where we don't even really get trick-or-treaters. They come, but only to certain apartments. Anyway, I bought the bite-sized M&Ms for myself because it's Halloween tide. I need a little few M&Ms in the kitchen. Yeah. And my spouse is like, get these out of here. I'm like, no, I am allowed a fun-size M&Ms at least once a day for the entire month of October. You need to have this in your house at Halloween.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it.
I agree.
Well, let me give a little bit of, but sometimes but not all kids. This is the version. There was a woman named Audrey Kinsman, and she started the Switch Witch. And the reason she started it was because her kid had a severe dairy allergy. He went out trick-or-treating. I know you can't expect the world to give your kid only the kind of gluten-free whatever that they need to have for their diet, right? Dye-free, whatever those things are. So she comes home and her kid is really sad that because of his dairy allergy, like 2/3 of the candy he can't have. And so she said, well, it's okay because maybe the Switch Witch will come. And she's vamping and both of her kids.
They're like, the what now?
Can have all the candy.
Yeah.
Is like, wait, what? A Switch Witch? What's a Switch Witch? They're full of questions. And she's like, never mind. Just leave your candy out and something will happen. She gets them a toy. I don't know how she managed. She must be an early Christmas shopper and had some stuff ready to go. Leaves out toys for them. Then she goes on a work trip, writes the story of the Switch Witch and the magic of switchcraft on the plane. It's about a witch who magically turns candy into energy to fuel her witchy world. If you want to do a deep dive on that, I'm going to let you go do that.
I'm good, I think, but go ahead.
And so I read that. I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, this is to make the holiday something that her kid, who otherwise has this, problem with it, can really enjoy. But it's turned into, if you don't do Switch Witch, you're a bad parent. And I think it's a shame.
I'm not here to yuck your yum, guys. Do the Switch Witch if you want. Like, whatever. Everybody has things that are difficult for them and their family, and you should do what makes everybody happy in your family.
Right.
But yeah, I think that you can, to a certain degree, say, we don't do that in our house, and it's something that a lot of people have to do.
Right.
We don't do bar mitzvahs at our house because we don't practice Judaism. Like, yes, a lot of your friends have this thing that they do and it seems really fun, but there's a real reason we don't do it and we're still not doing it.
In our house, you get all the candy.
Yeah, in our house, you get a ton of candy and no one cares. And I get it. And there may be, I'm not giving that even as advice. Like, there may be people who have kids who struggle with all sorts of reasons why they can't have a ton of candy. Do the Switch Witch if it works for you.
Right.
It's just making it the kind of holiday industrial complex where everything becomes, every wedding is now 5 days long. Like, I don't think we all have to keep doing this.
That's right. Janice Darcy, she wrote a story for the Washington Post about, she argued that the Halloween spending has become out of control. It has. I'll have some numbers for you. But she argues that it's because the Christmas starts November 1st. It starts as soon as Halloween's over. So there's no reason for the stores not to start to push pumpkin spiced everything like day after Labor Day, I guess, right? The Halloween has become this 18-week thing, and it's just to get us to spend stuff, right? Like the Switch Witch book is just to get you to buy it, to then get you to also go buy a toy before Black Friday for your kid, and and we're buying into it. So National Retail Foundation said we're going to spend in America $4.1 billion on costumes this year. $4.1 billion, including $700 million on costumes for pets. $700 million. I do love a dog. I saw a dog in Central Park the other day dressed as a spider. I mean, it was really cute. I can't think of better uses for $700 million. You know what I mean? I'm torn. It is cute.
Yeah. I mean, this
cute.
is why it's good we're cat people, because our cats would eat our faces off if we tried to put them in a costume. So I don't have to worry about that. I think that this is in the category of, what were we just talking about this with Amy? But like, how much joy is it buying you? Like, what was the phrase we were just using? It's like joy to cost ratio, I think, And I think that if you are a person who delights in dressing your baby as a hot dog, like if that makes your whole year and those pictures will like make you happy for the rest of your life, go for it. But yes, you do not need to spend $1 on a Halloween costume. You can still cut holes in a sheet and be like cool, meta, retro, ironic costume.
Hold a rock and you'll be Charlie Brown as a ghost.
Hold a rock and you'll be Charlie Brown. There you go. And I think that this is one of the many places where you have to kind of break the fire line of, am I doing this because it's joyless consumerism that I feel I must participate in because I'm being swept along the stream, or not? Now, I'm going to give you a helpful suggestion. Our town at the farmer's market, 3 weeks before Halloween, does a costume swap. Everyone brings their unused,
very lightly used.
Everyone brings their lightly used, like previously used. Because a Halloween costume, generally, you wear it one night, you bring it and then they organize them into categories and then you go and get a new Halloween costume. This is something we all need to work on gigantically. And I think that the more people are out there, because it's capitalism all along, baby, they're inventing things and making it like slightly easier for you to open a jar and it's like the slanket, right? Like do you need a blanket with arms? Maybe, maybe not, but they're making it slightly easier for you to stay warm. There is always a drive that like, if you buy this, your experience of this will be better. And I think that it is important to remember that you have to take a breath in between seeing something, wanting it, and purchasing it. And man, am I working on this with my kids, And we went to a fall festival yesterday, and just the amount of booths selling, here's the flag for the pig race, and you can buy a pig snout to wear to the pig race. And then you can buy this funny hat with a pumpkin antenna on it. And then you could... And it's just like everyone's walking around with all of this stuff. And okay, again, if it really made your day to buy a pig snout, but it's just a little bit that thing of the expectation of like, I'm going to go somewhere and then spend $100 on junk when we're there. Right. And believe me, I have the plastic light up swords to fight with in the park before the fireworks start on the 4th of July.
You have a collection of those.
Collection to prove that I am not good at this myself.
Those really hold up great. I'm glad you hold on to those because they really work well. I find 2 or 3 days later, they hold up.
Oh, sure. We get so much use out of them. Yeah.
Sturdy playthings. And then there's also, once you spend $85 on your baby's ladybug costume, then you got to go to the pumpkin patch to take a picture of her propped up on a hay bale to put on Instagram. And I think that's also totally fed this.
Right. It goes through.
Perceived audience for your adorable toddler's costume has gotten bigger. But you can do Facebook Marketplace. I was looking online for how do we make this cheaper? Facebook Marketplace, switch with your friends, switch with your cousins. And I used to just go on Old Navy or whatever, November 2nd and get the dragon costume for sometimes $1.99. And then I would have it for the rest of the year.
Now that is advanced planning. Yeah.
And then my kids would play with them. Yeah. And if you trade them, I would give the dragon costume to my sister and then her kids would play with it. It would go in their dress-up trunk.
Yeah.
And you can at least reuse this stuff.
Absolutely. Keep an eye out for if you see your friends' kids in a cute costume, like, oh, hold on to that. Can we borrow that next year? Trade around, post on Facebook. My child just decided they want to do something wacky for a theme day at school. And she's like, well, how much would it cost to buy? I can't remember what item it is, but it was something that was going to cost $45. I said, we're definitely not spending that on a theme day at school. Start asking around. Your friends, someone has one in their garage. Like, you can borrow one. It's not a bad idea, but we're not going to default. This is Amazon culture, which is like, just click the button, literally like say it out loud. If you have I won't say the word. If you have an Alexia, because it'll turn on. But like, I can literally just say out loud, like, hey, have this brought to me tomorrow, my magic genie. And this is where you start spending
on pet costumes for your
$700 billion on Halloween costumes. We can be part of the solution, friends. We do not need to be part of the problem.
I was heartened to see that in 2023, the top costumes for kids were, I'm going to read you this list because some things never change. This is what I got out of this list. The top Halloween costumes for kids. Number 1 was Spider-Man, Princess, Ghost, Superhero, Witch, Batman, Barbie, Zombie, Mario, and coming in at number 10 last year was Wednesday Addams, which is a little specific because there was a show.
That's new. That's the new Wednesday because there was a big show starring Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, but I can see like get a thing of black yarn and you got braids, right? So there's classics. Stick with the classics, guys.
Stick with the classics or improvise it a little bit. It doesn't have to be quite so perfect.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be quite so perfect. That's right. And just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean you have to do it.
Amy, we solved Halloween. It is completely solved.
I hope yours is spooky and warm enough to not have to wear your winter coat.
Oh, I know. At least put it underneath if you can.
Yeah.
Wear layers, please.
Wear layers.
Friends, if you are enjoying the What Fresh Hell podcast, won't you do us a favor and make sure you are following or subscribed to the podcast on whatever app you listen, and post about it on social media. We're trying to, tell new people about the podcast, rate and review it. Do a couple things today to help someone else find the What Fresh Hell podcast. We so appreciate it.
We would love that. And with that, we will talk to you next week.
Thanks so much for listening. There is always a drive that, like, if you buy this, your experience of this will be better. And I think that it is important to remember that you have to take a breath in between seeing something, wanting it, and purchasing it. And man, am I working on this with my kids, And we went to a fall festival yesterday, and just the amount of booths selling, here's the flag for the pig race, and you can buy a pig snout to wear to the pig race. And then you can buy this funny hat with a pumpkin antenna on it. And then and it's just like everyone's walking around with all of this stuff. And okay, again, if it really made your day to buy a pig snout, but it's just a little bit that thing of the expectation of I'm going to go somewhere and then spend $100 on junk when we're there. Right. And believe me, I have the plastic light up swords to fight with in the park before the fireworks start on the 4th of July.
You have a collection of those.
Collection to prove that I am not good at this myself.
Those really hold up great. I'm glad you hold on to those because they really work well. I find 2 or 3 days later, they hold up.
Oh, sure. We get so much use out of them. Yeah.
Sturdy playthings. And then there's also, you get, once you spend $85 on your baby's ladybug costume, then you got to go to the pumpkin patch to take a picture of her propped up on a hay bale to put on Instagram. And I think that's also totally fed this.
Right. It goes through.
Perceived audience for your adorable toddler's costume has gotten bigger. But you can do Facebook Marketplace. I was looking online for how do we make this cheaper? Facebook Marketplace, switch with your friends, switch with your cousins. And I used to just go on Old Navy or whatever November 2nd and get the dragon costume for sometimes $1.99, and then I would have it for the rest of the year.
Now that is advanced planning. Yeah.
And then my kids would play with them. Yeah. And if you trade them, I would give the dragon costume to my sister, and then her kids would play with it. It would go in their dress up trunk.
Yeah.
And you can at least reuse this stuff.
Absolutely. Keep an eye out. I mean, for, if you see your friends' kids in a cute costume, hold on to that. Can we borrow that next year? Trade around, post on Facebook. My child just decided they want to do something wacky for a theme day at school. And she's like, well, how much would it cost to buy? I can't remember what item it is, but it was something that was going to cost $45. I said, we're definitely not spending that on a theme day at school. Start asking around. Your friends, someone has one in their garage. You can borrow one. It's not a bad idea, but we're not going to default. This is Amazon culture, which is just click the button. Literally, say it out loud if you have I won't say the word. If you have an Alexia, because it'll turn on. But I can literally just say out loud, hey, have this brought to me tomorrow, my magic genie. And this is where you start spending
pet costumes for your
$700 billion on Halloween costumes. We can be part of the solution, friends. We do not need to be part of the problem.
I was heartened to see that in 2023, the top costumes for kids were, I'm going to read you this list because some things never change. This is what I got out of this list. The top Halloween costumes for kids. Number 1 was Spider-Man, princess, ghost, superhero, witch, Batman, Barbie, zombie, Mario, and coming in at number 10 last year was Wednesday Addams, which is a little specific because there was a show.
That's new. That's the new Wednesday because there was a big show starring Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, but I can see get a thing of black yarn and you got braids, right? So there's classics. Stick with the classics, guys.
stick with the classics or improvise it a little bit. You know, it doesn't have to be quite so perfect.
Yeah, doesn't have to be quite so perfect. That's right. And just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean you have to do it.
Amy, we solved Halloween. It is completely solved.
I hope yours is spooky and warm enough to not have to wear your winter coat.
Oh, I know. At least put it underneath if you can.
Yeah.
Wear layers, please.
Wear layers.
Friends, if you are enjoying the What Fresh Hell podcast, won't you do us a favor and make sure you are following or subscribed to the podcast on whatever app you listen, and post about it on social media. We're trying to, tell new people about the podcast, rate and review it. Do a couple things today to help someone else find the What Fresh Hell podcast. We so appreciate it.
We would love that. And with that, we will talk to you next week.
Thanks so much for listening.